We're here at the International Energy Forum headquarters in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and joining me now, Noé van Hulst. He is with the Ministry of Economic Affairs in the Netherlands. So thank you so much for taking the time, Noé. Now, it's been a very busy few days here in Riyadh, of course, a lot of dialogue looking at the outlooks, and again, you know, just really, it's all about the dialogue, isn't it? Tell me what's going on.
Yes. Well, as a former Secretary General of the IEF, I'm of course very happy to see that the dialogue is alive and kicking. So moving on from where we started with the Cancun Declaration, that we're still looking at these outlooks and trying to see where IEA and OPEC are in terms of how they see the future and what are the driving forces for the energy world moving forward. So it's good to see that this is still going on, and it was a very I think lively and very good discussion.
And of course, when you were Secretary General here and the years you spent in Riyadh, this of course was very close to your heart. And again, it was really about bringing everybody to the table. I think, well done in that sense. The dialogue has intensified, and I think, as you said, you're very proud to see that it actually continues and it's broadening. But do you also see over the years now that perhaps more people are having this dialogue and more data is available, and where it all started, I think it's moved in the right direction?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely so. I mean, I have to admit, of course, that the whole context is becoming perhaps even more complex. I mean, we are in a more turbulent world in terms of geopolitics, but also in terms of the energy transition, which, I mean, if you compare it to 10 years ago, is really now taking off globally. And I think that is in a way something that everybody has to reposition themselves, like a country, but also companies, what is my role in the energy transition going forward? So I think that is the real challenge. I mean, also for this region where we are now, how do you position yourself in an energy transition? Can we be part of, a decarbonized future? And I think there are obviously great opportunities also for the oil and gas sector and the countries here producing the oil and gas, to position themselves once again using hydrogen, other new technologies to also to reduce the carbon footprint of the oil and gas sector.
And again, as you say, the more those complexities rise, the role of the International Energy Forum is probably even more critical at this point.
Yes, more challenging, but also more critical. Try to bring those people around the table, and I think this new partnering with CAPSARC, for instance, which is also, of course, taking off in the kingdom, I think could be a very fruitful cooperation going forward.
Now, this, of course, is the 5th IEF CAPSARC Thought Leaders Roundtable meeting here. And again, a lot of great research going on in CAPSARC, and they'll want to be doing more. How have the discussions been? What's on people's mind? What are the key things that you think are concerning all of the delegates here?
Well, I think delegates are really much looking at the short term, what can be done in the short term. So we're talking a lot about things like carbon capture and storage, or carbon capture and utilization and storage. How could you use more utilization? How do we get the policy frameworks in place to really get CCS going? Because it's not going strongly enough at the moment. But also longer term, could you look at again the role of hydrogen, clean hydrogen, to indeed use the tremendous potential that these countries have also to produce solar energy, for instance, very cheaply, and then turn it into hydrogen and be part of the developing global hydrogen market.
And of course, in the Netherlands, in your role with the Ministry of Economic Affairs, you're also looking at climate change as well. This obviously is something at the top of the agenda. Is there enough being done, do you think? I mean, or is the discussion, does it need to deepen and strengthen, and the action actually, probably from this industry, maybe, need to move to another level?
Yes, we think that the urgency of climate change challenge is such that we need to move faster and we need to do more. I mean, all around the world. So not only in this region, but also in Europe. So we are part of a coalition of countries within Europe that is pushing for stronger targets in the EU. and also using all the technologies that are available, including carbon capture and storage and including clean hydrogen, to achieve what we call deep decarbonization. So basically you're talking about 2050, how can we have an economy which is almost entirely decarbonized?
So that is, I think, the key focus for everybody. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.